fast, fatal heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and past. I back up my actions back, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked. Attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off, with this series, we had Deku and Aki. They were the sole survivors of the Xenomorph Queen hunt, and Vasya was killed thanks to a facehugger. Now, Deku and Aki, they were able to scavenge tech from Vasya and work together, killing the queen. And Aki should have watched as Deku, he violently took it down. However, yeah, that was quite the challenge. Deku and Aki, they were given the rank of hunters. And Deku, he was actually given at least a new part of his hand. Deku's entire hand, most of it was hit by the acid. And thanks to the skin burning off and even some of the flesh being messed up, the yautja doctors, they helped Deku out. They took some of his cells and at least grew some skin in a lab. Along with that, they did also at least help to increase the regenerative rate of his flesh, since they were able to graft it on there and then at least go to inject him with a few things. Well, it may be weird at first, since it's basically a, new limb, kinda. Deku, he's gonna have to get used to it. Since, after that did happen, him and Aki, they did talk. Aki, she expressed that Deku, he's basically her first friend, and he's the only person who sees her as such. Now, with that, Deku, he was confused by this. Deku, he didn't know if Aki, she was just trying to express herself as a human would, or if she may have actually taken an interest in him. And that was something that Deku was confused by, since she's not used to showing emotions, and she's trying to show them. He thought that she may have just been expressing herself in the wrong way, since, you don't know how to regulate or really express how you say when you're not used to it. Express what you say the right way when you're not used to it. Now, with that, Deku, he did want to put a rain check on this conversation with Aki. He talked to her at least about a few other things, but he did at least try to avoid one certain subject. And he was summoned by the Elder. Deku taking Vasya's place on a mission where she was going to be with some other hunters. Now, with that being said, Deku would go on the mission with these hunters, and Deku would be gone for about a month. Now, in this amount of time, Deku would take Vasya's place hunting down some bad bloods. And while Deku was doing that, you do have the humans. The humans, they were allowed to have access to some of the newer yautja tech. And that was discovered since the yautja, they did come down and actually at least hand over a few things to the humans. And the humans, they were actually given a bit more control, since they were at least being allowed to control the fence, and given the resources needed to not only expand it, but even build new facilities to home in, or at least make homes in. Now, the scientists were also at least given permission to use and look at some tech. And they enjoyed this, since in the time that Deku was gone, more housing spaces would be built. And a lot more people would actually start to try and look into the yautja ways. Since while Izuku is gone, and many people are actually starting to be a bit more active and not only just drink or lay around and eat, or farm, or sleep, They're actually trying to be productive, not just trying to entertain themselves with the things the yautja provided them. Now, we do have whenever Deku he got back, and he talked to one of the scientists. The scientist, when he did open the door, he was caught off guard to see Izuku, since that guy just went missing one day, and now he's standing in front of him. Deku, he looks kinda worn down. As the man, he does see that Izuku, not only is he wearing 2 wrist bracers now, he has his plasma caster, he's got his gear, he's got a spear on his back, and he's not wearing his mask. As Deku, he does at least have some circles around his eyes that show he's been up for a long time. Listen, you're a doctor, right? Yes. Uh, where, where have you been at? I've been hunting. So, I have a question. What do you know about a xenomorph? Uh, we've studied a cadaver, but it wasn't in very good condition. Oh, perfect. Deku was going to turn around and walk out, talking about how he has something they might want to study then. The man going to turn and inform other scientists about what he's hearing. As some people, when they do walk out, they're curious. Certain scientists, this may not be up their alley. However, they're curious to see exactly what Deku's going to bring in. And you do have whenever Deku does is go to press a few buttons, and the ship that's overhead is start to release something. As a large body does slam onto the ground and create a heavy thud. And many people, they do just watch on. As Deku does at least point to the Xenomorph Queen and inform them that this is what they can study, and he wants to know what they can make use of out of it. Some of the scientists are just staring at it in awe, since they're thinking that he just took this thing down alone. And whenever someone do go to ask that question, exactly what the hell is that, Deku informs them that last month on his hunt with 2 other hunters, he killed this thing. They helped take it down, and he took its head for a trophy. And right now that's the reason why all of them are being able to live in such better conditions. The yautja are actually starting to respect not only him, but he's formed a clan with them. The humans are now able to traverse the stars. And many of them, they are all ecstatic by that. Since some of them think that they can just go back to the other planet they may have been on. However, Izuku, he does quickly shoot that down, expressing that they need to earn their ships, and that if they do want to go into the stars, they're going to have to actually start to do what many other humans are doing, especially ones like him. And Deku does at least go to ask, if any of them they do want to accompany him or at least turn into a blooded hunter, talk to him. However, until then, see if they can make anything from this. He's especially curious to know what exactly xenomorph skin can be used for, since it is immune to their own acid. And many of the scientists, they were at least a bit annoyed and a bit pissed off at Deku before he did at least go to point that out. Many scientists, they do know about the corrosive blood. However, none of them have thought about the immunity to the skin. And that's about to be one of their greatest scientific journeys. Since while many of them they do go to gear up to at least try to inspect the corpse, Deku he would also at least warn them about the egg. Since he talks about how, it might have 1 egg left in its body. If they see it, shoot it, stab it, or kill it. Light it on fire or do whatever. Just take care of it and make sure it doesn't get any of them. Now, many people, they were around to inspect this. And whenever Deku did at least go to point out the egg, some of the people who he hunts with, they were actually a bit more on guard about this, staying around the area. Since if it's just one facehugger, they can kill it. Now, with that being said, the ship would land and Deku, he would go to walk up and onto the ramp. Many people watching him do so, as Deku he would walk into the ship and go to his personal quarters. As he does so, he does go to sit down in a chair and go to bring his hands up to grab his gauntlets. Him pulling them down, as he also does he's going to take off the mesh covering his body. Now, whenever Deku does so, he does find that the room is actually a bit cold, wondering if he should keep this thermal mesh on to stay warm. However, Deku he does just decide to toss it to the side, and then go to at least take off his other wrist bracer. As whenever Deku does do all this, he does go to set it all down to the side, and then go to at least take his mask and set it down carefully. Him walking to the bathroom and taking a shower, before at least going to change into some casual clothing, or at least just some boxers, and then go to pass out in his bed, as he did at least go to lock the door. Now, Deku, he does start to hear something, as he does go to bring his hand up and go to grab onto, well, his mask. Deku going to grab it, roll over, and put it on his face, as he does ask exactly who is calling him. Are you awake, Scar? Aki, what's up? Did I disturb you? Yeah, I was sleeping. I just got back and I just dropped off the queen corpse. I'm just tired. I see. And how did the bad bloods go? They're dead. That's all I have to say about them. Many of the hunters on the team, they were annoyed that Vasya was killed. Many of them wanted to blame me. I could see it. I may not be able to see their face with the way they were talking to me. However, the predator on the ship, he was at least a bit more respectful. He knew about the customs. He knew about Vasya's death, and he knew I was the one who killed the queen. He pointed out that I was at least a clan leader, and many of them they were not, so they had no jurisdiction to speak to me the way they were. The man was very respectable. In fact, I didn't get his name, but maybe I could hunt with him one day. I see. Well, would you be free to meet? I'm on the ship. Alright. Now, you do have where Aki, she does at least go to walk around the area. Her at least going to look and see the scientist. They are still studying the Xenomorph Queen. And they do at least have some floodlights and other strange lighting sources lighting up the entire corpse. As many of them they are carefully peeling back some of the Xenomorph skin and looking to see exactly what it can do. As some of them they are at least being careful and holding up spray bottles full of the neutralizing agent. Now, whenever Aki does walk onto the ship, many of the other human hunters they did see that, as they themselves wanted to go on and see what that place is all about. As we do have our Akishas walk in and find Izuku, who he's leaning against his room door, as it's halfway open. What's up? Scar, are you willing to go on a hunt with me? Honestly, not right now. I'm way too tired. I've been up for the last 36 hours. Really? Yeah. I've been eating nothing but energizing paste, different alien bugs and creatures, and really I'm just tired. I'm sorry. It's alright. I've got to thank you, though. For what? Because of you, many of the other yautja aren't looking at me the same way. In fact, I received some apologies. Many yautja, they regret the way they treated me. Her going to bow her head, expressing to Izuku that she is very thankful he won their first fight. And Deku does just stare at her. Aki, please stop. Her going to at least stand back up, expressing that She will not. She feels like meeting him, it was something that she was destined to do. It was great. Yes, she hated him at first. However, she respects him. She can't help but feel this way. And Deku, he does just go to turn his head a bit. There's that word, feel. Aki, do the yautja have similar systems to humans? What exactly do you mean? I mean, I know clan leaders, whenever they, you know, whenever they're spawning the next generation, they have numerous mates. Do yautja ever just take one? Um, y- Sometimes it's a rare phenomenon. However, Mei yautja, they are usually reserved for the leaders. The females, they're usually the ones to, you know, pick the strongest. Yeah, yeah. So, I've got another question then. Do yautja express themselves the same way humans do? Um, I don't. I want to say no. Okay, I'm just kind of. God, I'm way too tired for this shit. I'm just. You're throwing me for the loop here, okay? The way you're talking and the way you seem to perceive me, it sounds like you're. And do not punch me in the face for saying these words. It sounds like you're obsessed with me. Aki just staring at Deku, as she doesn't have her expression change. And Deku can't tell whether or not she's thinking about those words, or if she's registered them and just isn't going to respond. Um, well, that is certainly a weird way of putting it. Hmm. Okay, so you're in love with me. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I have an interest in you. Yes, I, that. Okay, Aki. For humans, an interest and in love, they are the same concept. Aki's staring at Izuku, as she at least does have those gears in her head move. Oh. Her going to bring her hand up, expressing that she doesn't mean it in, well, that way, but it's just sort of, well, it's just kind of, it's all, they're just watching her do this. She's flustered. What the fuck? Now, you do actually have where Deku, he does stare at Aki. Her actually at least going to try and change the subject, asking exactly if Izuku has a bottle somewhere on the ship, since she's guessing it would be in the main cabin room where the mess hall would be. Hmm? Yeah, I got a couple bottles there. Why? Well, we should have a toast to the fallen. Hmm? It just sounds like another reason to drink. Is it not? Deku at least going to do one thing. He goes to close his door. As Aki, she does just stare at that. She feels bad for a minute. Did she say something wrong? Her going to look down a bit. No, he's not like he is. He's her getting a bit annoyed. She thinks that she may have just messes up her first friendship, the first person to accept her, and she actually does get a turn and walk away. As you do have where the door does open once again, and Izuku does come walking out. As she does turn confused, as Deku, he's not wearing any of the yautja gear, and he at least does go to tie a knot in some sweatpants. And he does at least get a weird stare from Aki. What? You're not wearing yautja gear. Yeah, I'm tired. Besides, this is way more comfortable. Is it? Aki, have you never worn normal clothes? I have not. Okay, hang on. Deku is going to walk back into his room, as he himself does actually go to put on a shirt, and then go to grab another one. Him then going to grab another set of human clothing, before at least walking out and tossing something over to Aki, and informing her that there's a spare room over there. If she wants to take it or call it for dibs, she can. However, she can try that on. If she doesn't like it, she can return back to her other gear, and then join him since he's going to go pour a bottle or two. And Aki, she actually does go to change, as she finds it to be kind of weird and strange. Since the material she's trying to put on, yeah, it's not metal, it's not steel, it's not armor, it's not rough around the edges, it's not heavy, it's light, it's comfortable, and it's soft. It's not bulky. And Deku, whenever Aki does come back to join him, he does just turn and look at her for a minute, as she's just staying there and asking if this is just the clothing he wears, and at least expressing that human culture is very strange to her. I'm sorry. Hang on a minute. If you are making fun of me, it is not funny. No, that's not it. It's just, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect you to wear that. Sorry. Now, Aki, she actually does at least get a bit of a laugh out of Deku. And whenever she is annoyed, she just go to walk over and sit down. Deku, he at least does go to slide over a glass and then pour her a drink. As the two, they do try to relax for a minute. And Deku, after at least asking a few other questions to her, and her at least trying to ask a bit more about human culture, Deku, he does discover something. Her hair is braided. That's not natural yautja hair, it's, well, a ceremonial braid. And she does at least ask Izuku if he would like to get his hair braided the same way. I'm not so sure. Well, it's a rite of passage for certain yautja. Granted, humans and their hair is different. However, it is still possible. But it is extremely painful. If you mess up, you have to start again from scratch. If you show the slightest bit of pain. However, once it's all done, it's actually fairly convenient for combat. Her going to bring her hand up, and going to at least lean forwards and grab a bit onto Deku's hair. Her at least saying that Izuku's hair is almost actually at that point. Yeah. Deku is going to lean back. As Aki, she does go to let go of Deku's hair, and it does fly directly through her hand. And Deku, he does talk about how maybe whenever it's longer, since he doesn't think that it'd be so good to do it with short hair. Alright, Scar. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.